I'm Lara from Lara's Little Dreamers, a certified pediatric sleep coach. Welcome to my channel, and thanks for joining. Today, I'm doing a deeper dive into one of the hot topics of how to help your baby to sleep better. The hot topic we're covering today is the science of sleep. I always believe when you dig a little deeper and understand the background of something, it helps you to support, to implement changes, and to understand why things are happening, so that you can help troubleshoot in the future and therefore help your baby with their journey of sleep. I'll be covering 5 topics with understanding the science of sleep, and the first is our circadian rhythm. Now, it's good to know a circadian rhythm only starts to develop around the 4-month mark. This is because a newborn's main purpose is to continue to grow. The circadian rhythm relies on external factors, and our baby's brains are not quite ready to receive and send signals throughout their brain. But what is the circadian rhythm? Simply put, it's our body clock. It's that feeling we get in the morning that we're ready to get up, and the feeling in the evening that makes us tired and know it's time to go to bed. The most important thing to know about the circadian rhythm is that it's influenced by external factors, and the biggest factor is light and darkness. Every morning when the light comes, our circadian rhythm resets for the morning. The light shines and our brains tell our body it's time to wake up. There are multiple things that happen to make that work, but essentially that is the start of the day of our body clock, or our circadian rhythm. There are other factors that influence it, such as food intake, stress, physical activity, environment, temperatures, and all of these can positively or negatively affect your baby's sleep. So the circadian rhythm really is the start of your baby's sleep journey. The next point is hormone production. Similarly to the circadian rhythm, it's only around the 4-month mark that our baby's brains start to produce hormones. This is often seen as the 4-month sleep regression, but actually around the 4-month mark, there's so much development happening with your baby's brain, like starting to produce hormones, that I see it as a progression in their development. But yes, it can have some negative impacts on their sleep. Hormones impact us and our babies in many different ways. As we know, hormones are really important for various parts of our life. When it comes to sleep, the main hormone we focus on is melatonin, because the higher the level of melatonin, the better your baby will sleep. Melatonin production is triggered and is at its highest level in darkness, and it's suppressed and decreases with light. This trigger is filtered directly from your baby's eyes to their brain, and therefore their sleep environment becomes super important because it can impact their sleep. When we talk about helping your baby to sleep better with hormones or melatonin production, it's imperative to get that environment as dark as possible so that you help your baby to produce as much melatonin as they can. What's also good to know is that melatonin production slows through the night and is at its lowest in the early hours of the morning, and that's why our sleep becomes lighter in the morning. Understanding this makes you realize how important making their room as dark as possible is, so that in the early hours of the morning, their sleep isn't disrupted by the sun rising. The third point is sleep pressure. Simply put, this is how tired your baby is. It's that feeling of just wanting to go to bed. As adults, that heaviness behind the back of our eyes. When we get this feeling, that is the optimum time to go to bed. And as adults, we can feel it. But for our babies, we need to work it out for them. And we do this by following their age-appropriate wake windows as well as tired cues. This is from birth, and following awake windows right from birth can help you and your baby on your baby's sleep journey. Without enough sleep pressure, we, adults and babies alike, really struggle to fall asleep and to connect sleep cycles and sleep for longer. Monitoring your baby's sleep pressure allows your baby to fall asleep more easily. Isn't that what we all want? Too little pressure and your baby struggles to fall asleep. This is because they haven't had enough awake time or enough stimulation. Too much sleep pressure and your baby is overstimulated. They've been awake too long and their brains start to produce adrenaline, which keeps them awake and alert. And this makes it really difficult for your baby to fall asleep. As mentioned, to help you realize your baby's sleep pressure, You'll follow their age-appropriate awake window as well as their tired cues. It's really important to use both because every baby is different, and so their age-appropriate awake window will be slightly different to another baby's, and this is where their tired cues come in. In saying this, when your baby comes to a developmental leap or growth spurt, often a slump in concentration or a little bit of boredom can appear as a tired cue. So if your baby is close to a new awake window and they're showing signs of tiredness, it might just mean that your baby needs a little bit of help to get more stimulation. When this happens, I suggest you take your baby outside, go to the kitchen, clank around on some plates, point out some new items, something to give them a little bit of stimulation, to get them into a new environment, and do this for about 10 to 15 minutes just to extend that awake window, and then it's time for their nap. This way, you'll help them get to a better sleep pressure, to fall asleep more easily, and to connect their sleep cycles. I just made mention of our fourth topic, sleep cycles. So around that magic 4-month mark, sleep cycles change. From birth to 4 months, your baby's sleep is really erratic, and their sleep cycles range from 20 to 50 minutes and anywhere in between. But around that 4-month mark, when their circadian rhythm is starting to develop, hormones are starting to be produced, so too their sleep cycle starts to become more consistent, and that is around the 45-minute mark. The flow of sleep cycles starts with an active form of sleep, followed by deep sleep, and then REM sleep, which is the lightest and the end of your sleep cycle. At this time, your baby either wakes up or connects into a second or third sleep cycle, and so the flow will continue. Connecting sleep cycles is not a skill we are born with, and some babies find it a little bit more difficult to learn than others. But there are ways that you can help support your baby in learning the skill. And the first is sleep pressure. We just spoke about sleep pressure and finding that right sweet spot of sleep pressure for your baby. This not only helps them fall asleep more easily, but it helps them to connect sleep cycles. Overtired and undertired babies struggle to connect sleep cycles. So finding the right sleep pressure will help your baby to nap longer and sleep with longer stretches through the night. The second step to helping your baby connect sleep cycles is their environment. I'll go deeper into environment in another deep dive video, but for now, it's good to know 3 basic points of having a great environment for your baby. The first is to have a pitch black room. This prevents any distractions for your baby. The second is to have white noise. This helps to prevent any outside big noises breaking the silence for your baby. And the third is temperature. And this can be both their room and their clothing. Getting the right temperature helps your baby to sleep longer and to sleep better. The third element to help your baby to connect sleep cycles is supporting your baby in learning how to fall asleep independently. Now this is the toughest one because this one your baby has to learn. You can't just do it for them. Simply put, the way your baby falls asleep initially is how they're going to connect to the next cycle. So if your baby falls asleep feeding, being rocked in your arms, when they come to the end of their sleep cycle, their body will search for that to be able to connect to their next cycle. If it's not there, their body will most likely wake up looking for it. If your baby is able to fall asleep in a crib, calmly by themselves, their body recognizes no change at the end of a sleep cycle, and if their sleep pressure is right, they will simply and easily move into the next sleep cycle. Please know there are many ways that you can help your baby learn the skill, and it doesn't involve leaving them to cry. The gist of sleep cycles is that nobody just sleeps through the night. Sleep is made up of many cycles that are all connected together. So as soon as your baby can learn to connect sleep cycles, they'll be able to nap for longer and sleep for longer stretches through the night. This brings us to our final point. Babies are noisy sleepers. This is a piece of information that I think parents only find out once they have their babies. But it's crucial to know because often it misleads parents into thinking their babies are awake and they rush into their baby's room. Many babies make sounds when they're dreaming, when they're moving around finding another comfy position, or just when they're in active sleep. These sounds and movements can be their technique of self-soothing. A baby grunting and groaning gives off a feeling of vibration like a parent humming with through their chest. Or rocking and moving around the bed is similar to being rocked in a parent's arms. So, next time you hear your baby making noises and it's not close to wake up time, pause. Give your baby some space and time to continue sleeping, because they might just be connecting sleep cycles independently. If after a little while they aren't falling back asleep, if it's not close to wake up time, go in quietly and help support them back to sleep. If it is close to wake up time, get them out, get them started for their new awake window. That brings us to the end of the 5 topics of understanding the science of sleep. To recap, around the 4-month mark, your baby's circadian rhythm and hormone production start to develop. Both of these two are mainly affected by dark and light, but also by other external factors. So by you getting control around those external factors for your baby, you will help your baby to sleep better. Next is sleep pressure and sleep cycles. Getting the right amount of sleep pressure, enough stimulation but not too much, will help your baby to sleep better and for longer. Connecting sleep cycles is all about supporting your baby in falling asleep independently so that they can connect cycles without you. Finally, it's that babies are noisy sleepers. Remember when you hear those noises to pause. Give your baby some time because they're just finding another comfy position and practicing their skills of connecting sleep cycles independently. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video useful and enjoyed watching it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos.